Great. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Community Talk number 32. My name is Colson, and I will be your host today for Community Talk. We have an exciting agenda today filled with some amazing community segments and some updates from around the community as well. So, the topics including for today will be Eat Cinco de Mayo, Graph Horizon, a new initiative by the Graphronauts, and an update from BuildersDAO. But before we get into these segments, let me share some of the community updates with you. So last month we said that we would be hosting a meme competition, and the results are in. With the team at Playground dropping the best meme, and you can see all the winning memes at the Graph Advocates Twitter page. We will share a link with you here and in the description of the recording. And we would like to remind you that Denver is coming soon, and we would like to invite you to attend the booth and attend the workshop hosted by the core devs. So we also had a few advocate highlight contributions this month. Up first, we've seen that Graph advocate Larik has been creating really high quality visuals showcasing protocol news and updates about the advocates program. And we would like to share the Twitter account here so you guys can take a look. Secondly, there was a Zero to DApp workshop in Ghana, sponsored by AdvocateSDAO and organized and hosted by some of the Graph advocates. And Chidibim is here, so I would like to pass the mic quickly to Chidibim so he can share something about this amazing workshop.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. So, yes, the Zero to Dark workshop was awesome. We had about, at maximum, we had 25, student developers in attendance. And then we also had Simon from Edge and Node and Jerry as well. So the objective really of the workshop was, getting these developers to build like a dApp and then also build a subgraph to integrate in their dApps, to increase the widespread adoption of the graph. And Simon handled, building a dApp with Remix. And then I handled the part where, the overview of the graph, and then how subgraphs work to index, and to index the blockchain and make it easily, retrievable. And then we also built a subgraph just to show use case of which like every one of them was a part of the process. And then Jerry from Edge, I know Jerry and Simon also helped with like debugging errors and things. So it was really awesome. We also got like, a couple of devs that were onboarded into the Africa and then to a hackers group that we have as well. So I think we it was good, and I think we should look forward to more initiatives like this in the future.
Yeah, sounds amazing. I've attended one of the Zero to Dapps, I believe in Denver it was, and it's really cool to see that when there's multiple devs working together that are specializing in a lot of these things, it becomes so easy for the students to start building. So yeah, I would like to give you a shout out here and thank you so much for helping out with this. You guys can look at the Twitter post that we are sharing right now. The pictures look really good as well. So hopefully we can all attend some of these in the future. So thank you so much for sharing this with us. Thirdly, I would like to give the microphone to Lorena to talk about a side event from ETH Argentina and a side event for Ethereum Cinco de Mayo. So if Lorena is here, we would like some updates.
Yes, could you hear me?
Yep.
Thank you, Colson, for inviting me to do that. Next week, we will have Ethereum Argentina in Mendoza, a province from Argentina. And with Chainlink and Arbitrum, we will organize a technical side event with workshop and networking. And we will have advocate developer that will present organize workshops and technical presentation to create subgraphs, substreams, and using all the tools that we have available to participate in the ecosystem and do everything in the Arbitrum. So the idea of our this kind of workshop is integrate different tools that we have in the Arbitrum so we can do everything together. The developers and community can see in a better way how to work with the graph and how to use everything. One point is if you are in Argentina and if you want to participate, uh, I can share with you the link. I consider it's not necessary to share here because we have people from around the world listening today. So if you are interested, you can DM and I can send you the link. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Lastly, for the Graph Advocate highlights, I would like to give a shout out to all the Graph Advocates helping out in the community care role, specifically to Yash, Paul, Siddhant, and Thomas, who've been doing an amazing job at helping out the community with a broader range of questions and are just bringing very good vibes to all the community channels. So thank you guys so much. Later in this call, we will share the new core developer updates and a new GRTIQ podcast. But for now, let's get started with our first segment. The Graph had a booth at Eat Cinco de Mayo last month, which was a hackathon held in Puebla, Mexico on February 2nd to the 4th. The hackers there were supported by a team of Graph advocates and by Marcus and Kevin from Edgenode. And today with us, we have Amy, who did a great job at representing the Graph at this event. And I would like to ask Amy if she could share more about her experience and about the event itself. So, Amy, up to you.
Hey everyone. Well, it was amazing to see the community in Puebla, Mexico. I think that the community there was very much like in the early stages of adopting blockchain. So they were very interested in what the graph is all about and what can it do and everything that comes within the graph ecosystem. So they were very enthusiastic for this matter. And I think that it was a great event. I saw so many ideas that were very interesting, and the one that won, like the bounty that we were given, was very interesting. It was like a DApp for music and NFTs. So they were extracting information and indexing data from Subgraph that had different NFTs in the smart contract that were about music. So it was very interesting, and they were very like enthusiastic for doing more things in the long term. So I think that that went great. So yeah, it was a great experience, and we loved the food. Marcus and Kevin ate like the whole day tacos, so it was very good. It was very nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that update. And I believe we will have you on for segment three a little bit later on. So please stick around. For now, we will go to segment two before we have some more of the community updates, and then we will get back to Emmy again. So for segment two, the people that are active on the Graph forum have most likely seen Pablo his in-depth post called Graph Horizon Explained, a proposal for the evolution of the protocol. And I know Pablo has also spoken about this in some of the other calls. So today, he will also come on here for a short segment, sharing some of the key takeaways from this blog post, or the forum post, sorry. So, Pablo, could I pass the mic to you, please?
Yes, sorry, it took a while to unmute. I wanted to share my screen because I had like a short presentation. That doesn't seem to work. Let me see if I can do this. Can you see
Yeah,
the
it's
slides?
sharing. Let's see. It's loading for me. Yep, that works perfectly fine.
Awesome, perfect. Thank you, Colson, and thank you for having me here. I'm going to talk about the Graph Horizon proposal. This is something that kind of started from our team at Node and has been developed over the past, I would say, the past 2 years of research. It's been taking shape and has kind of coalesced now into this particular proposal where we're proposing several changes to the protocol that will take some time to implement. But the basic idea is that we want to make the protocol more modular, more secure, more efficient, and more permissionless. So there are many changes that we're hoping will take place to achieve all of these things. The main idea is that we're introducing a modular staking approach. So right now, the staking contract is kind of very tightly coupled with the subgraph data service in the sense that it's designed to handle subgraphs, and that has its, if you're familiar with the protocol, it has the concept of allocations, and it's connected to curation through indexing rewards, and it also has the exponential rebates formula for indexers to collect fees. So the idea, and this is maybe one of the core changes that are proposed as part of Horizon, is to make the data services permissionless. So there is a core staking contract that has a more a more small API and kind of a framework so that indexers can provision stake for arbitrary data services, and each data service has their own smart contract to define the rules of that data service, and that means you can define different stake requirements and do like different forms of rebates or defining how much stake you need for a particular amount of fees or something like that. The way in which fees are collected might be different for each of the data services. You might have different ways to interact with gateways and how payments happen in like a pay-as-you-go thing or something else. And also introducing like a permissionless decision of how you introduce taxes or curation or any sort of fees in your data service. And each data service would have their own verifiability. So for instance, if you're doing a fire host, that might have a different verifiability solution than subgraphs, and the same applies for new things like SQL or other query languages or whatever data service devs can think of. And that means, like in the most basic form, the verifiability is enforced by an arbitrator. So each data service could an arbitration marketplace or something like that. So a lot of things are opened up by allowing staking to connect to arbitrary data service contracts and to add them permissionlessly. And we're hoping this will introduce a kind of an explosion of new things, new data services added to the graph, which hopefully means a lot more growth in the usage of the network in its all of its different forms that it will have now. As part of this, because now you can kind of provision stake for any data service with their own verifiability and so on, their own arbitration, we're proposing improving the economic security of the protocol in the same change, so that the actual stake that is provisioned to a data service is a stake that can be slashed if the indexer does something wrong, if they provide bad data, in particular if they're malicious, right? So this requires making all of the stake that is provisioned slashable, and that means making delegations slashable as well. But because we want to protect, we want delegators to be protected, the idea would be that all of the indexer stake would have to be slashed first before any of the delegated stake is slashed. This has the counterpoint that it also means we can remove the delegation tax because it's no longer needed to prevent the kinds of attack that it was designed for, because now delegation can be slashed. And it increases economic security and makes it easier to measure the economic security because you look at the stake that is provisioned for a data service, and it gives you a better amount of how much punishment can be given for providing malicious data. And also it has I think, a benefit for decentralization in that it encourages delegators to spread their delegation across many indexers, because that way, if you, as a delegator, you make a mistake and one of your indexers got slashed, then you still have your rewards from all of the other delegators that should be, like if you spread them sufficiently, it should be more than what you lost in the slashing. We also think that liquid delegation solutions like Tenderize that has launched recently and any others that might appear will also have a role to play here, where they make this kind of decision easier for delegators, but that's something, of course, to be seen as the proposal is implemented and if we see other things like that appearing. And then finally, part of what we're proposing in Horizon is to introduce indexing fees in parallel to indexing rewards. And that means a consumer that is usually acting through a gateway can pay for indexing a subgraph and they pay an indexer directly. In general, we're not thinking that the end consumer is going to be choosing the indexer, but rather that the gateway will use some form of automated indexer selection algorithm to do this, and therefore spreading across many indexers when they do it. But this means there is a permissionless way to get your subgraph index because it doesn't rely on any oracles, and that makes it very censorship resistant. And it provides an alternative income flow for indexers as well because they will still be getting indexing rewards. Well, I mean, of course, we're thinking about better ways to use GRT issuance for the good of the protocol and the growth of the protocol. But until we have a better solution and there are sufficient fees to so that indexers don't rely on indexing rewards so much, they will still have both things in parallel. So you have indexing rewards and you have indexing fees, yeah, this means that it also means that fees can become more relevant than indexing rewards in the future. If there is a lot of demand for these indexing services, then there will be less of a need for those indexing rewards if indexers are already getting an income from that. So those are kind of the three main topics I would say in Horizon. Of course, there's a lot of detail in each of the little things of how each of these things are implemented, and we're currently working on starting to implement this. There is the discussion going on, and we've been chatting with the council about whether we do this as a separate deployment, a new protocol deployed in parallel to the current one, or if we take what we call the brownfield approach, where we take the current protocol and through some GAPs and through some upgrades, we convert it into this Graph Horizon version of the protocol. And so, yeah, this is an ongoing conversation. We're welcoming feedback and questions. Here's the link to the forum thread, but I think if you go to the forum, to the governance section, you will see the proposal there. Yeah, and I think that's all I have. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I believe the link to the forum was already shared in the comments here in chat. But maybe you could give that a quick check and see if that is correct. All right. So after this segment, I would like to go quickly to some community updates, and I would like to share with you that the monthly core dev updates from Semiotic Labs, Finex, The Guild, GraphOps, Masari, Geo, and Agenode, and Streaming Fast have been put on the forum. So we'll be dropping all the links to those here, so you guys can give them a quick read to see what the core devs have been up to. And I would also like to share that there were a couple of new GRTIQ podcasts that have been released. So we have 152 with Yuri, who is the co-founder at Starkware. We have 153 and 154 with Rodrigo, the chief spirit officer at Agenode. We had 155 with Juan, who's a blockchain developer at GraphOps, and 156 with Pablo, who we just heard from, and who is the principal software engineer at Agenode. So I would definitely give a recommendation to listen to all of these podcasts. Amazing people, and I think you will find the podcast really interesting. So for segment 3, I would like to give the mic back to Ami, who will introduce a new project she's doing in collaboration with Graftronauts.
Hey, thanks again, Carlson. Well, yes, I'm super thrilled to share that the Graftronauts had this initiative to redefine the narrative surrounding women in Web3. We know that contrary to the traditional expectations in this Web3 ecosystem, like you don't need a computer science degree or coding expertise to find your place in this dynamic industry. So the graph ecosystem welcomes talents from different backgrounds like design, community building, also like development and much more. So as part of our mission in the Graftronauts community is to endeavor and to interview trailblazing women that is already doing a lot of waves in the Web3 sphere. So we want to share that we are launching the Graph Her Club podcast. So, with the Graph Her Club podcast, we aim to inspire and empower many women into Web3 and to spotlight successful women that are investigating, that are doing research, that are founders. And we want to empower them, and of course we want to like make some true state of gender inclusivity in this space. So our first episode is already launched. We just do it for the community talk, and we want the community to see it first. So I think they're going to share the link of the YouTube video. But we had the chance to interview Mickey from Edge and Node. She is the senior engineering manager from the technical support team, and it was really nice to talk to her and to see the advice that she gave to all of the people that want to be part of this Web3 world. That we know that maybe it's confusing, maybe it's like kind of scary. So she talks about the imposter syndrome, and she talks about how she managed to have a balanced life as being a manager, because she has so many challenges, and she had like such a great I don't know, like path into Web3. So it's an amazing story to start with, and we're going to have amazing guests in the upcoming weeks. So we're super thrilled to launch this. I hope that everyone can support us with the subscription and likes on our videos. And of course, the English is not my first language, so sorry if I misspelled some words in the video, but it was super nice. And I hope that everyone likes it because it's a project made with a lot of passion and love. And the Graftronauts team is awesome. Like, shout out to my friends that are from the Graftronauts core team because they support me all this way and they are amazing. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much. And I believe the links were just shared in the chat room as well. And I believe they were just uploaded. So yeah, that would be very good if everybody could give that a watch. It's going to be super interesting. So yeah, if you have any new episodes upcoming in the upcoming weeks or months, just let us know so we could share them here again. I think that would be a very cool opportunity. All right. For the like segment 4, our last segment here, we will hear from James from BuildersDAO, who is going to give an update on what they are cooking up at the DAO. So, James, up to you.
Hello. I hope everyone's doing well. So my name's James, and I'm a member of the BuildersDAO, and currently focusing on developing substream powered subgrass and managing the creation and development of subgrass and substreams. So quick intro to what the DAO is. It's essentially a passionate team of developers and enthusiasts committed to advancing the graph ecosystem. And we do this in a few ways. So one, by developing high quality subgrass and substreams. And our aim is to kind of integrate a wide array of Web3 protocols and projects into the graph ecosystem. But we also place a strong emphasis on retention. So yeah, it's not enough to simply bring projects in, but we also strive to kind of like provide the ongoing support and innovation needed to keep them engaged and active within the ecosystem. And what we're working on, so kind of span several key areas. So ground up development of subgrass to optimizations and upgrading subgrass from the hosted service to the decentralized network, as well as substream development, particularly focusing on substreams powered subgrass and critical bug fixes and tech support as well. So I'll go through like some of the stuff we've been working on recently. So in terms of subgrass, we've built a couple of projects. We've recently built one for the token name service subgraph for the token DAO, as well as a subgraph for Floor DAO V2, which is good. Stoked to get them into the ecosystem. And we've also got a few ongoing ones at the moment. So we've recently started a subgraph project for the Ethereum Follow protocol, which is it's a cool idea for a system that kind of allows native follow functionalities on Ethereum and enhances social interactions and stuff like that. Just another protocol we're stoked to get into the graph ecosystem. And a big one we've worked on recently has actually been some optimizations for Uniswap v3 subgraph. So a few of the guys who picked that up looked at the previous subgraph and they realized there are a bunch of optimizations we could make. A lot of it focusing on getting more accurate data and kind of reducing the need for redundant RPC calls when we've got the data without having to make an RPC call. And that was really successful. And one of the big outcomes of this batch of work was kind of got a subgraph now, which provides the most accurate data for Uniswap on the graph network. So psyched for that one. And following on from this, we're actually now working on a similar optimization task for the Uniswap v2 subgraph, where we're kind of aiming to replicate the benefits we achieved in the v3 optimizations. So it's not just kind of like ground up development, as I said, but we do focus on subgraph updates and migrations, and particularly moving relevant protocols from the hosted service onto the decentralized network. And yeah, as we all know, it's like it's a crucial step that kind of aligns with the broader vision of Web3 and the graph's long-term goals. And a recent example of this was our migration efforts for Unlock Protocol, where we successfully transitioned, I believe, all of their subgraphs to the decentralized network. And actually, there's a little tangent. A cool strategy we've implemented inside the DAO is to kind of take a proactive approach to this migration and retention, or these migration and retention efforts. So one of our developers, Thomas, he built a dashboard that monitors subgraphs on the hosted service, and it helps us do a few things. So one, identify subgraphs that are failing to sync. So this indicates to us, there's potential bug fix opportunities here for us to step in. We can then reach out to these protocols or projects and support them if needed. And then it also allows us to identify any protocols or projects that are still using the hosted service. So then we can offer, a subgraph upgrade migration process, again, allowing us to get more protocols onto the centralized network, which is kind of the long-term goal of this whole thing, right? And then, substream development. This is my area that I'm keen on right now. So in terms of substream development, we've initiated an introductory substream powered subgraph bounty for DAO members. So it's essentially like intro to substreams task, where the goal is for members to create a basic substream, and it serves as a hands-on introduction to the technology. And it's been, in my opinion, an effective primer to, just to learning technology and contributing to a positive and educational environment within the DAO. And at the moment, working on a few substreams. Actually, we've developed a few substreams. So a few bigger ones we made were a Chainlink pricing substream and a Uniswap pricing substream, and kind of showcases the composable nature of this technology. So these substreams, the idea of them is they're kind of like Lego blocks. These pricing ones you can pull into your own substream. If you need to get pricing data for tokens, pull it in, get the pricing data, and that logic, that feature's already there, and you don't need to build it from the ground up. And currently we're working on some larger substream powered subgraph projects for Teleprotocol, Trader Joe, and Curve Finance, and just want to kind of create indispensable data solutions for these protocols. That's pretty much it. But yeah, if any of this type of stuff, is your cup of tea or excites you, we'd love for you to join us. And just visit our website. I'll drop a link in this chat for that after. And we're always on the lookout for more, Web3 or graph enthusiasts who are skilled in subgraph and substream development. And that's about it.
Great, thank you so much. I believe Polly just shared the links to the Graph Builders Twitter and the Graph Builders website as well. Yeah. So that's nice. All good. Great, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of these updates with us. And do let us know if there are any major updates again, because we would love to host you again. All right. After this call, Lorena will be sharing the links to the POAP for this event with everyone. So if you are collecting those POAPs, you expect a message from Lorena. Before we conclude today's community talk, I want to remind everyone about the upcoming Indexer office hours that will be happening today at 1800 UTC. And also don't forget to check the monthly core developer updates on the forum. And as always, I would like to thank you for joining this fantastic episode of Community Talk. We will now open up the floor for Q&A. And if you have no further questions, I would like to wish you a great day, and I hope to see you again next month. And if you have any ideas for segments for the upcoming episode, please let us know so we can include them. So thanks, everyone, and bye-bye.